Hey, good afternoon, good afternoon. Hey, everybody. So this is, I am live on Clubhouse. So it's only my second room that I've started on Clubhouse. And I'm also live on Facebook within my Facebook group, which is called It Starts With You, which is a free group. And I think on my Facebook page as well. So I'm sort of like 3 or 4 places all at once. But I wanted to do this live before we all sort of settle down and maybe have a little drink later on. I don't know how you're celebrating. Maybe you want to share with me in the comments over on Facebook. If you want to speak on Clubhouse, then just raise your hand and I'll let you onto the stage so you can speak. So Lisa and Samantha, thanks for being here. If you want to speak, then please raise your hand. And those of you on StreamYard and Facebook, yeah, just put your comments in the comment box as normal. So if you don't know who I am, I might introduce myself a bit formally. It feels a bit weird because I don't normally have to do this. I just jump on Facebook and everybody can see and know who I am. I mean, if you're on Clubhouse, you can just click on my bio and see a little bit about me. This is only my second day on Clubhouse. Obviously, I've been on Facebook forever, like everyone else. Hey, Jess, over on Facebook. Nice to see you here. Happy New Year's Eve to you. The little coughing in the background is my little puppy, so excuse that if you can hear that over on Clubhouse. So, yeah, my name's Sam Adams. I'm known as a real life coach. I did not give myself that name, by the way. That was my lovely friends. I'm a part of a mastermind group. And they came up with that title for me, which is kind of stuck now. I'm kind of stuck with it. I quite like it. It's growing on me, although I hate the word coach, but hell, because I think coaching, coaching is a tool, basically. I'm an advisor, a facilitator, a listener sometimes. My job is to spark your brain, to help you think differently, to question yourself, to help you be you. And get the best out of yourself, because that's firmly what I believe in. That's one of my number one concepts is about being you. The trouble is, a lot of us don't know who the fuck we are. Excuse me, I do swear, so if you don't like swearing, this is not going to be something you want to watch or listen to, because I do drop the odd F-bomb. So yeah, sorry about that if you don't like swearing. I can't help it. So, but if you can show up in the world as who you really are, then life gets way better. And those of you that know me, that follow me, will know that I spout this stuff quite a lot. I've been on a bit of a transformational journey. I mean, 2020, what a wild year this has been, right? This is one that none of us will forget, I don't think. Doesn't matter what age you are right now, I don't think any of us are ever going to forget 2020. It has been one hell of a year. So let me know how it's been for you in the comments over on Facebook. If you want to comment, and please do. On Clubhouse, please raise your hand if you want to speak. Lisa's going to speak. She's coming. There's a thing on Clubhouse. So for those of you that are watching on Facebook, if you haven't seen Clubhouse, this is it. Basically, it's a really cool app. All the cool kids are doing it. And when you want to speak, the person that's created the room, the moderator, has to invite someone up on stage. Hey, Lisa, how you doing?
I'm really good, Sam. How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. Thank you for raising your hand and coming up on stage with me.
I know, this is all pretty cool, isn't it?
It's fab. I'm loving Clubhouse. What about you?
Yeah, like yourself. I think this is my 3rd day.
Yeah.
Might even only be my 2nd day. Yeah, I like to chat. So
yeah, me too.
So yeah, I really like it because it's a really good way to be involved and literally jump on a conversation, but then you can literally leave if you want to. You can take part. You can ask questions.
Yeah,
it's different. I'm not quite sure how it's going to go, but I think it's really good to be part of.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very new. I mean, it's an American app, I believe. So I think the Americans have had it since about April. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay.
So yeah, they've had the advantage of having it for several months, and a lot of the rooms and the groups on here are American people.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But the Brits are here now. The Brits are taking over.
So it's good to chat. you have a nice Christmas?
I hadn't. Well, it was quiet. I'm not going to lie, it was hard. First year without my dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, my dad died about 5 months ago, so that was very hard. It was just one of those Christmases you just need to get through. But I think a lot of people probably felt like that this year. You know, with pandemic. Like I say, 2020's been bloody wild.
Hasn't it just? And it's really interesting because there's such a mix of people's views on things, and I'm going to just be honest, as you know, that's who I am. For me, it's been quite a positive thing. I've lost somebody as well, so I am aware of both sides of it. But I've lost one business and I've created 3 more. So
amazing! Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. And like yourself, I think you look at things and you say, right, okay, yes, things aren't the way I want it to be. The past's got to change, but how can I actually make it better? Yeah,
exactly. I think that's what a lot of people have had to do this year. Is just learn to adapt and to change, and that's one of the biggest parts of resilience, is learning to be adaptable and flexible, and learning to pivot and change when the storm hits, as it were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, you know, one thing I'll say about this frickin' storm, by the way, if you're listening on Clubhouse, I'm also live on Facebook. And if you're live on Facebook, I'm doing this thing called Clubhouse. So if you don't know what it is, go check it out because it's frickin' awesome. I'm loving it. Only been here 2 days. It's an audio app. There's some amazing conversations being had down here. So please go over and just get yourself registered on Clubhouse. It's invite only, but if you're not registered, then no one can let you in. So yeah, please come and join. But one of the things I'll say about 2020, and it's like I say, it's been a wild one for me, but I know it's been way worse for lots of other people, is that the bigger the storm, the bigger the rainbow. And that's what I'm holding on to.
Yeah.
Or the brighter the rainbow will be, basically, when we get to the end of this. So that is one of the things, I don't know where I read that, one of the little quotes I read anyway. And I think that's what I'm holding on to. What, you know, the brighter, you know, how bright will the rainbow be when we get to the end of this pandemic, when we can move around more freely, when we can hug our loved ones, hold them dear once again. And I hate to say get things back to normal, because I think actually there's a new normal coming, you know. And one of the things I shared earlier in the year was about now that actually what you know, there's this time before Corona, and now there'll be this time after Corona, and it's really a good opportunity. And this year has been a really great opportunity for us to think about, okay, what do I want to carry forward from the old normal, and what do I not want to carry forward? I mean, some of us haven't had the, you know, like with your business, Lisa, you can't carry that forward. That's gone, and you've had to pivot. But in other areas of our life, it's a good opportunity to look at and think, okay, this is a good chance for me to, you know, to clear the decks, mentally, physically, you know, what's going on in your life, where you are, and think about what do you want to carry forward, you know, in your life, not necessarily into 2021, but just, you know, day to day.
Yeah, and I think it's also really important that everybody looks back on 2020 and actually really acknowledges what everyone's achieved. And I think, you know, we can look at it and it's very, very easy to look at it and think, oh, well, that was really bad and that was really bad. And I literally went on my Facebook profile and just did remember to give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes we look at this year, or some people have looked at this year and said, oh, this is so negative. And I'm like, but that's where you're focusing. Focus on what you've actually, how you've grown. Because you know, we've all grown. It doesn't mean that we may have just grown in a different way, but there is something that you've done that is definitely a positive.
Yeah, so, absolutely. I think it's having the ability. I talk about lens and perspective quite a bit, and it's having that ability to change your perspective and how you see things. And it's not easy. I never used to be able to do it, quite frankly. I was one of those blamers and complainers of life, and it was always someone else's fault. But you can, and I've learned and I've grown, and you can always change your perspective. Perspective is everything. So yeah, I just want to welcome Emma-G into the conversation. How are you doing, Emma-G? You can you unmute yourself? Bottom right hand corner on Clubhouse. You just click the microphone. That will unmute you. Don't know if she can hear me. Hey.
Oh, sorry, ladies. I don't know what was going on there.
No problem. No problem. Hi. Welcome to the Real Life Club. Thanks for jumping on. Did I pronounce you? I'm great. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Energy, yeah. It's like energy with an M.
Yeah, that's a really cool name.
It is my coaching name.
I love it. I love it. Where are you based, Emoji?
I'm based in London.
Ah, okay, cool. So, did you have something you wanted?
Ladies.
Sorry.
I can totally relate to you about the whole of this crazy year that we've just been.
Yeah, it's been a wild one. So, how's it been for you? How's it been on a personal level, or a business level? How has it been?
Do you know what? I can honestly say it's been one of the best years business-wise. The reason being, I've been coaching for years, but this was my first year of being online with the whole coaching scene. I've been coaching since 2004, but was really scared of the camera and didn't really want to get my face out there.
Yeah.
But made a vow to myself at the beginning of the year that this is the time to go online. So for me, it's been like the perfect year because I had no choice but to go online.
Yeah.
And I mean, the only thing I can say that I'm really thankful for is just health and sanity through it all.
Yeah.
And to just come out, really happy, no matter, business has been great, yeah, but, sanity and being able to come out with a sound mind and to have not caught the virus at any point, I'm just truly grateful.
Yeah, I think there is that sort of thread running through a lot of people that actually, if we've just got through this year, with our sanity intact, then that's a win, right?
And how's business been for you, Sam?
Yeah, it's it's been a crazy year. I've had 2 deaths, a divorce, and this pandemic to deal with. But actually, but to be honest, yes, that's been hard, and I, definitely it's been hard. The beginning of the year, I was not in a good place, so I'm ending the year way. No, that's cool. That's cool. We all go through shit, right? But I'm ending the year way better than I started it. And, there are definitely other people that have had it way worse. I'm lucky I haven't had the virus. None of my family have had it. I've got an elderly mother and I'm obviously precious about her and protecting her. Some of my friends have now got it, which didn't happen the first time round when this, the first lockdown. But yeah, on the whole, good. Business has been really good. Bit like you, Emoji. I've had to pivot and change things and adapt. And, I had my best business month ever in November. Can you believe that, in 2020?
Yeah, I can believe that.
Because, what do? Do you roll over and put your legs in the air like a dying dog and, let the world wash over you? Or do you, people like yourselves that are in this group or watching on Facebook, we're the ones that are going to get up and we're going to go again, right?
Absolutely. We just have to adapt to change, don't we? We're all able to adapt to the change. It's just whether you want to. Exactly,
and opportunity is there, but for me, it's about whether you're willing to look for it. Not everyone is willing to look for the opportunities. Not everyone thinks that's the right thing to do. I've heard some people say that we shouldn't be trying to sell anything in this time, and I just think, what? That makes no sense to me. This is a time when we need the economy to be bolstered. We need to help one another. We need, if you've got something of value to help someone get through this time, or improve things for themselves and their family, hell, put it out there.
So what do you actually do? What do you coach you, Sam?
I coach predominantly. My one-to-one clients are small business owners, all women at the moment, solo entrepreneurs. But basically the crux of it is, and if you look at my bio, it's about keeping it real. And when I say about keeping it real, I always say to my clients, you are the material. Whatever you come with, that's our material, because if you are basically, you've got to know who you are. You've got to become self-aware. All of that. Business is personal at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what business you have, whether you have a bigger business than me or you're an astronaut or whatever. Everything in life is personal. It comes and it starts with you. How you're showing up in the world, who you really are. All of that is super, super relevant. And that's the work that I do, working on yourself, because that's the work that I've had to do on myself. The last 2 years, I've transformed myself in, I wouldn't say a completely different person. I'm still sweary, I'm still leery, I'm still cheeky, I'm still all of those things, but I'm much more self-aware. I know who I am. I like who I am. I used to be embarrassed about who I was, my hair and my skin color, all of that shit. But now I'm owning it and I'm celebrating it and I'm helping other people celebrate themselves too. And I absolutely love that.
It's the transition into entrepreneurship, isn't it, as well? Transferring from a business owner. You do very similar to what I do. A lot of people have businesses, they have small businesses, but having that mindset to transfer into full-blown entrepreneur, it takes some grooming.
Yeah, it's not a short process, is it?
No, not at all. It's a beautiful process once you master it.
It is, but everything's a process and it takes time, and we've all got to go at our own pace. And it's a bit like, going through this pandemic. Not everyone wants to adapt. Not everyone wants to change. But I think, that's where, somebody said, about growing through it. And you absolutely can make the best of this. You can grow through this. You can come out better than you went into it. I personally have, although we're not out of it yet. But it's about your willingness to go through that process, to feel the hurts, to feel the pain, to dive a little bit deeper. No one really always wants to go a little bit deeper because it can be painful, right?
Absolutely. And it's accepting the light and the dark, isn't it?
Yeah.
Both sides. It's not just all about light, There's ups and downs to being an entrepreneur, ups and downs to life, ups and downs to everything. It's just accepting both sides, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. There is a paradox for everything, isn't there? But it's just whether you're willing to do the work or not. And
it's definitely the time. People need us more than ever now, I believe.
Yeah.
People don't want to go back out to work. They want to work up their own businesses, or they want to expand or better their businesses, or go online. So this is definitely the time for coaches.
I think it's
going to be amazing.
Yeah, I think it's forced a lot of people's hands in terms of working from home, and in terms of maybe trying something new that they didn't want to try before. I've got a couple of clients that had great businesses. One of my clients had an events business, really, really strong business. It's gone. It's gone. In 2020, it's literally obliterated. But that person has pivoted. They've created another business. And at one point, they were on their knees thinking that was it. They'd have to sell their house and everything. But now here we are at the end of the year. They've pivoted. They've shown up. They've obviously got me as their coach, so they're all good. And but they've done the work, not me at the end of the day, but I've been by the side. And it's what you're saying, Emoji. It's a time to invest in yourself. It's a time to invest in that thing that you wanted to do, that hustle that you wanted to try. Try it now. There's never been a better time, I don't think.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
So
what do you think the key thing is for 2021?
Always what I always say, I said this live was about the number one thing to do in 2021, and the number one thing to do in 2021 is invest in you. Invest in getting to know yourself, who you are, showing up in the world as you are, the real you. There's this thing called the gap, and I talk about it a little bit because this was me, basically. That if you can't see, I'm live on Facebook, so the people that are on Facebook can see this, but I've got my thumb at the bottom and my four fingers at the top, and there's a gap in between the two. The top level is who you show the world you are. That's how you present yourself to the world. And then where my thumb is at the bottom is who you really are. And then there's the gap in the middle. And the gap in the middle is all those feelings you might have: fear, anger, shame, self-doubt, all of that stuff. And there's a duality to us. This was me, presenting myself to the world as somebody that I really wasn't, but I thought would be accepted. Somebody using a voice that wasn't really my voice, but the voice that I thought would be accepted and be heard. Whereas the real me was way, way down the peg. And what I've found and what I work on with myself and my clients is closing that gap between who you really are and who you show the world you are, and being transparent, because it takes way less energy just to rock up as yourself, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love that.
When you, sorry, Lisa, did you say something?
No, I was just agreeing. That was my That was an appreciative agreement.
Well, I appreciate your appreciative agreement.
Thank you very much.
But you think about, you know, because I'm speaking from personal experience. So, you know, when you continue to show up day in, day out, not being your real transparent self, it's hard work. It's tiring. You don't realize because you get stuck in that habitual way of showing up. But when you start to unshackle yourself and unchain yourself and then let go a little bit, oh my God, it's freeing, man. It's just, and you've got so much more energy because you're not holding back stuff. You're not constantly talking to yourself in your head and trying to be something different and trying to think about what's the right thing to say here. Because when you show up in the world as yourself, what you're saying is the right thing to say, whatever it is. Just being you, that's the right thing to say. It doesn't take any more energy. Being you is the easiest thing in the world to be.
Yeah, definitely.
And
can I add something, Sam?
Yeah, sure.
I think my thing is all about masks. So because of my childhood and a lot of things that happened, it's very, very similar. I think we're quite similar, Sam, in that we take people out of their comfort zone because we know what it's like to put on a mask, to put on an act for a long time. I mean, I'm 50 next year.
Oh.
Yeah, 50 years young.
Yeah, congrats.
I'm grow up disgracefully, so it's all good.
Oh, fab. Only way to do it, darling. Only way to do it.
It's the only way I'm going. And, you know, and I did my talk on it, on masks, and I did, you know, a lot of my work is helping people to actually be their true self, because I honestly believe that once you are either on that journey or you get there, the feeling of peace is, there's nothing, it's really, really hard to explain to somebody. When you've been, you know, exhausting yourself by being this person who you feel needs to fit in different places, when you actually get to the point of, I really love who I am, because I had no self-love, no self-esteem, no, you know, you would never think it, because I've always been outgoing, captain of my football team. You would never, ever have thought it. But behind those masks, I really didn't ever feel enough. Yeah. And now... Totally resonate with that. Yeah, and since that journey, you know, I'm 3 years sober tomorrow. Hey, congratulations. Thank you. Woohoo! And alcohol was a massive coping mechanism as well, because of stuff that happened. And so it's a big deal, but for me, that was my ultimate act of self-love. Yeah. Yeah. And
that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you, Imogen. Yeah, I think what I'm trying to say is when you actually are really in alignment with who you are and your values, you have peace. You don't need, and you'll actually find yourself not wanting to be around people that are out of alignment with you anyway. Yeah. That's what I find. If I'm around people now who I don't resonate with, I won't stay very long. Yeah. Yeah, I totally get it. You take less bullshit. Yeah, completely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Congratulations, by the way, Lisa. That is amazing. Thank you, mate. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Addiction isn't easy, is it? I have a brother he's 9 months sober actually. This month. Awesome. And I know how hard that journey is. So really, congratulations, commend you. And it's all about, I guess, it's all about numbing the reality and numbing what's going on for you. And you know, I don't have any addictions other than to sugar. I love it. Hey, that's can be as bad as cocaine. Well, apparently it can. And actually, I did wean myself off of sugar once, and I don't know what it's like to take cocaine or to come off cocaine, but it was freaking hard, man. After about 5 weeks, I was ready to kill someone. I was like, I can't take this. This is not working. Sam's working through. She hasn't had sugar. I remember being in the kitchen. I remember the meltdown. It's like a significant event in your life, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. And and then literally week 6, it kind of just all tipped the scale, and it just got a lot easier. But the first 5 weeks were hell.
So yeah, I guess it probably, they do say it is quite addictive, don't they? And that's my addiction. But and I'm trying to work on that, because it is a comfort, isn't it? It's how to mask things, what we hide behind. And I think, you know, my message about going into 2021, and the one thing to do, and you know, to take forward into 2021, is about you, and taking the real you, you know, taking off the mask, and just going unashamedly into 2021 as the real you. It might be hard to begin with, and you may lose some people along the way. I have. I think probably, you know, Lisa, you might resonate with that as well, you know.
Yeah,
because of the way you've been presenting yourself to the world. If it doesn't feel right, then it probably isn't right. If the people that you have in your life and the things that you see around you aren't right, then I'm sorry to say, but it starts with you, and you have to do the work. So how are you presenting yourself to the world, to your relationships, to your work, and everything like that? It's what you're projecting out into the world, because we're contagious beings, right?
Absolutely. And I think, I think the important thing to remember is the way I looked at it, because I had a lot of people. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah. It's about the way I looked at it. I had a lot of friends, right? And I am used to, I know you can't see me, but I'm doing the old,
Oh, you've gone again.
And I always had money. I'm loads of fun. I'd go out, get drunk, buy everyone drinks, you know. And the thing is that when I had my breakdown, Lisa wasn't there.
Yeah.
So that's when I sat back and went, okay, I need to be really vulnerable now. So vulnerable. Now I'm looking at it and I'm going, right, well, actually, you're not really a friend of mine, because if you were, when my partner committed suicide, you would have stayed by me. And they didn't. But then what I did is moved all of those people away that weren't enhancing my life. And oh my God, it's like Moses parted of the way.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, all these amazing people came in.
Wow.
That's a true alignment.
It's like I wouldn't have had room for them before. And it does. It can be really quite challenging, but beautiful when it works out.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your partner. That's hard, man. Really hard.
Yeah, she died 11 years ago next month.
Wow.
Hugs,
mate. Hugs to you, and props to you as well for everything.
If it hadn't happened, so I have to look at it like that.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I don't even know what to say, Lisa. That I can't imagine what that was like at the time, and going through that, and you know, that just what you've been through, and 3 years sober tomorrow. Massive props to you.
Thank you.
Well, I want to welcome Hilary and Emma onto the stage. Drum roll. Hey, ladies. I'm just gonna pause one moment, because I'm live over on StreamYard on Facebook as well as Clubhouse. So I'm doing sort of like a dual thing going on here. This is just an experiment to see how it goes. I do regular lives over on Facebook, and I think I'm now going to be doing regular lives over on Clubhouse, because I quite like it here. It is all right. There's just a couple of yeah. It's the new sugar. It's the new addiction. Well, at least it doesn't give me a muffin top, so that's all right. But I just want to. There's a couple of comments on Facebook I just want to just acknowledge. Hey, Alice, thanks for watching. And Helen, nice to see you here. Jess, Diana, lovely to have you on this afternoon, this New Year's Eve. Helen is saying, hey, inspiring ladies, sending lots of love. Yes, it's definitely been a challenging year. I've succeeded in some ways, not quite in others. And I learned an awful lot about myself, and for once had the time to process it. I think that's a really valid point. You know, we've had a lot more time this year to process things than we ever would have normally, right? I don't know if anyone else agrees with that, but we've certainly had more time. Those of you that have been furloughed or but not been able to work, we've definitely had more time with our loved ones and to process stuff that, about ourselves, getting to know ourselves, getting to know our loved ones, but also maybe a little bit of what we want out of life and how we're showing up in the world as well.
Definitely agree with that.
Yeah, me too. Helen also says she's spotted patterns and a few realizations made. I've found out that I'm really quite dyspraxic, not hugely big on labeling, but it's given me a real insight into why I can be so chaotic, which I hope will give me more understanding and less frustration when I can't get through a door first time. It's not an excuse for anything, but looking forward to putting some things into place to make life easier. Lol, I like armbands. I love that, Helen. Helen's a previous client of mine. She's an amazing lady. And that's great insight. You know, if that's all you've got out of it, 2020, that insight about yourself and how you show up and how you see the world, I think that's pretty epic, actually.
Definitely. I kind of love that as well, because I work in the neurodiversity sphere. So I work with people with autism, ADHD and everything.
Yeah.
And I always say to them that the best gift you can give yourself is understanding what it means for you.
Yeah.
Because once you've understood that and you understand your journey, so many things will make sense and your confidence will naturally grow. So I think it's just the biggest gift we can give ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It's getting to know yourself. It brings out the best self. It brings out the best in you. I wouldn't say it's always easy. This bit is about being honest with ourselves as well.
Very true.
Which isn't always easy, is it? Especially with those little walks and all that we like. We don't really want to go and pick those ones, but when you do, you can bring out the best in yourself. I truly believe that.
Yeah. It's been about peeling back the layers, hasn't it? During this whole COVID, you know.
Yeah.
We've been able to peel back layers that we don't usually peel back.
Yeah.
Didn't know that was under there.
That's it, and it's in. I don't know if you heard me before, but I was saying it's if you're willing to go there, you know, dig a little bit deeper, and as Emma G was saying, you know, about coaches, it was about challenging people, and you know, I ask a lot of uncomfortable questions to my clients, but they're not just uncomfortable for my clients; they're uncomfortable for me to ask, but my job is to bring them, you know, to help them bring the best out of themselves. And in order to do that, I have to ask challenging questions, and they have to be willing to go deeper than they've probably ever been before. But the byproduct of that and the outcome of that is, as I said before, a brighter rainbow, a better them, better insight and more self-awareness, so that they can go on and be the best self, really.
And that's the beginning of the process of the peeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to do the uncomfortable. I have to do the same. I'm sometimes a bit like, oh, I really don't know what's that question. But you know, unless you unravel those answers, you're not going to be able to do the groundwork.
Yeah.
And to really get to those, you know, those weeds, I call them. I always use the gardeners as an analogy. You can't get to the roots, to the weeds, to dig them out.
Yeah.
You can't move forward, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to, I always say, you got to deal with the weeds. You know, the weeds, the rocks, and the dead plants. You've got to do, you know, you've got to cultivate your garden. So if you want to cultivate your garden, deal with the weeds, deal with the rocks, and deal with the dead plants. You know, that's something we all have to do. But you know, again, it's not easy. But I just want to say hi to Lorraine, who's over on Facebook. She says, I'm loving this Clubhouse discussion. It's fab, wise as well as real. Fucking awesome. Thank you, Lorraine, for watching. Appreciate you. I just want to say hi to Hillary, who's now jumped on stage. How are you doing, Hillary? Can you unmute? Ah, there she is.
Sam, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for being in this little group this afternoon. How's things with you? Reflections on 2020. What would you carry forward into 2021?
Well, I had a mammoth 2019, and I came into 2020 thinking, "Yay, I'm free. I've got stuff to do." And then I got grounded again in lockdown.
Yeah.
So I've taken a lot. I've done a lot of. I've removed a lot of toxic relationships, which has been mentioned already. And I started to question, because I couldn't see people I was hanging out with. I asked myself one question about them: am I missing them?
Yeah.
And that told me a lot. And the people I was missing, I picked up the phone and spoke to, and the people I wasn't, I didn't.
Yeah, that's amazing. Simple but effective.
But it's true. It doesn't have to be complicated to make big changes in your life, because sometimes the biggest changes are tiny, tiny pieces.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion, I'm not a coach. I'm a person who just likes to try and be aware and pay self-attention and stuff, you know, to how I'm feeling and things. But yes.
I agree with you. It doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be these mammoth, you know, these mammoth things. It's the little things. If we all did something every day, like, isn't there like this 1% rule thing? you know, if we all change 1% a day for a whole year, we'd be 37 times better than we were at the beginning of the year. And the little things eventually become the big things.
I agree. And someone said to me recently, gosh, you've changed your whole career, life, whatever. You must be really, really busy. I can honestly say I have never been this chilled out. Like this time last year, I couldn't have just jumped on and listened to because I'm actually on listening to you. So I've been listening to you while I've been lighting the fire and doing nice stuff.
Nice.
But I wouldn't have been able to do that because I'd have always had things that I had to do. Whereas now I'm so much busier, but I'm 20 times more productive.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so I get a lot of time off.
And that's, you know, that's, I think, one of the lessons that I probably take from 2020 as well, Hilary, is that slowing down, and I've said it before in the Real Life Club outside of the Clubhouse, is that slowing down is the new speeding up. And that's something I tuned into in the summer because I was trying to do too much and therefore not doing anything well, not concentrating enough and not having enough headspace either. I think my dad dying and that whole process leading up to my dad probably gave me that kick up the butt, and because that became my primary focus, of course. But off the back of that, I just realized that actually I just need to take a step back here and focus on 1 or 2 things rather than 13 things.
Makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It made a massive difference, Hilary. It made a, you know, and I talk about this a lot about headspace, you know, a bit like we talk about gardening and farming and things like that. Like a farmer will rest a piece of land in order that it becomes more fertile. You have to look at your mind in the same way. It needs a break. It needs a rest. You need to, you know, don't fill it with stuff all the time, because you can't be as creative as you probably could be. You don't give yourself enough thinking time, downtime, time to get to know yourself, become self-aware. And all of that has really improved for me since I've done less.
You think when we met, you came to one of my events back in March this year. It feels like it was like centuries ago now.
Oh God, yeah.
And not only was that like a couple of weeks before lockdown, but we'd never met. We had met in person actually the year before.
Yeah, we did at Kelly's thing. Yeah.
But how far we've both come and the conversations we've had, and we were going to hopefully have got together for a sleepover, but then lockdown happened, and you know how the shift of stuff. And I think both of us, there's a calmness about you that there wasn't there in March.
Absolutely, agree, totally.
From an observation, which makes you even more endearing, because you're a coach, you're putting yourself out there as a coach, but it's really nice for someone like me to watch and see you evolve, because obviously as a coach you can't be the same as you were a year ago. Exactly.
I think, and you know, Emoji will probably agree with this as well. You constantly have to be learning as a coach and growing and willing to, you know, there's a saying by a guy called Litvin that he says you can't really take your clients any deeper than you're prepared to go to yourself, or that you've been to yourself. And when I heard that,
absolutely.
Yeah, great, right? And when I heard that, a penny really dropped for me, because it was all part of this pretense before of trying to be something I wasn't, trying to use the voice that wasn't really mine, the language that wasn't really mine. And when I realized that actually everything I'm going through and been through and all the vulnerability, if I just share that, that will be enough. And
it's more than enough.
Exactly. And it is. And it absolutely is.
I absolutely love. I think it's the same book that I've read recently as well, because I don't like to be a hypocritical coach, so I can only take you through what I've experienced. I can only take you as far as my businesses have been, you know, what the traumas that I've been through in my life. I can only coach you through those, because I did life coaching mainly for most of my career, and it's just so true. But you know, for us to be able to just stop, and then you actually, for me, this whole COVID period, I've realised how much I can actually coach, how much more I can coach.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to stop and think, actually, I did that and I did this, and I could make a course out of this and that. But if I wasn't able to stop at any period, I would just, you know, go with the surface.
Yeah.
And like I said, go back to those peeling myself as a coach, peeling the layers as a coach of actually what I have to offer and different ways I can serve people. So yeah, I can totally relate to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, I can help I believe I can help anyone, and that's not about being big-headed. It's about we're all just human beings, and how I coach, and this might be completely different for you, Emma G, or any other coaches that are listening, you know, but how I coach is because the material is you, and it's about you being you. And so I think I can help anyone do that because I've done it myself. It doesn't matter if they've got a multi-million-pound business or a £2 business. When it comes to the depth of emotion and other stuff like that, then yes, then that's about the journey that I've been on and how deep I've had to go, you know, various levels of counseling and pulling myself up from my bootstraps of feeling suicidal and all of that. So the depths emotionally, yes, I can only really go where I've gone with that, but we're all just human beings. And it's incredible the amount of people that show up in this world not really as who they are, and that makes me really quite sad, actually, because I know how much energy that takes. I know how what it's like to be in that place, and actually there's a lot of suffering that goes on when you feel like you can't be yourself. So that's really my mission, is just to help people celebrate themselves and be themselves, so that actually they can find out actually really what does light them up, really what they are capable of doing, of being. That's what really, really, you know, fires me up.
Yeah, totally being unapologetically authentic.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I first came online at the beginning, I think it was January, I had a real big problem with that. So I come from like a corporate background many years ago, and I found that I had this really corporate voice online. And my friends were like, "Can you just drop that straight away? Just be yourself." And it took me like about 4 months. To just be myself and not be this corporate person who's in the boardroom and speaking quite posh. Yeah. Just drop the posh, you know, I said to my friends, "What do you mean I'm common?" Like, no, but the nicer, the softer version of energy is what people want to see. And it literally took me about 4 months. And that was just me trying to be something that I thought other people would want to hear. Yeah. And I found that I got a lot more clients once I started to be more myself online. Yeah. So I love what you do. Your cause is great. Oh, thank you. And thank you for being here, by the way. I really appreciate it. And, you know, Hillary, I always love chatting to Hillary. Hillary always sparks some wisdom and some truth bombs in there. So I really appreciate it. I love it, Hillary. I love hearing you speak and what you have to say. You know,
we can be honest with each other, and isn't that what conversations are about? Like you both just said, that showing up and being yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's a wonderful piece of advice, because when you do, phenomenal things happen. I myself am from a corporate background originally, and apparently I do speak a bit posh, but I can't change it unless I'm mimicking. It's Dick Van Dyke and me and Poppy.
The telephone voice. The HR telephone voice.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is my own voice, so I try not to do it, but it does come out quite posh sometimes. Apparently,
it does. It does. if I didn't know you, Hillary, and I only spoke to you on the phone, it would be like, oh, she's proper posh. She is.
Oh yes, well I've learned to use a knife and fork, so there's a good challenge. Let's have to leave you, because I'm going to go play in the kitchen now, make some wonderful things for this evening.
Well, thanks for jumping on, Hillary. Lovely to have you here. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year. So over on Facebook, we've got Laurie, who's just put a comment up, just saying, excuse me, ladies. She's saying, more than enough always. Honesty. Openness is the power stroke light that cuts through all the darkness and crap that gets in the way of living. Whoa, I love that, Lorraine.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I wish you was on Clubhouse, Lorraine, so we could have a discussion with you, because that I think, you know, you've got a lot to say, and I like what you say, and that is, it cuts through the darkness. You know, being honest and open cuts through the darkness and the crap that gets in the way of living. Love that. So
are we all new to Clubhouse?
Yeah, I guess we are, because we've all got these little party icons. Emma, are you?
Does that mean you're new?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does, Emma. And what you do is, sorry, so we've all got these little party icons. I don't know if people can see that on Facebook. That means that you've been on Clubhouse less than a week. And if you like what someone's saying and you want to show appreciation and you're on stage like you all are, you just, in the bottom right hand corner where the microphone button is, you just repeatedly tap that like I'm doing now. Yeah, that's basically clapping. That's basically clapping in Clubhouse land.
Wow, I need to definitely do some training on Clubhouse. No clue.
What about a what?
You know,
A whistle.
fingers in the mouth, a long whistle.
No, I don't know how you do that yet. All I know is clapping. So, you know, we're all getting used to this.
I received a ping from you, Sam, to join.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Right, okay, so if you go down to the bottom of your screen, sorry for those of you watching on Facebook, we're having a Clubhouse tutorial now. But if you go down to the bottom of your screen, there's a plus button.
Right.
Click that, and then all the people that you know. So if you just tap on them, like I'm going to do, to ping them to come into the room and join our discussion. So please do that. Let's bring some people in if we can. And you can invite people into the room to come chat with you. So yeah, any room you're in, you can do that. If you're liking the conversation and you want other people to join, then yeah, just do that, which is what I'm doing now. And then just swipe down from the top of it and away it goes. So yeah, a little tutorial.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very, very welcome. So I'm about to close this room shortly because I'm starting another room at 3:45, which is the 3K in 31 days challenge room. I'm going to talk about what I'm doing in January. But I just want to say thank you for everybody that's been here this afternoon for this little session, the number one thing to do in 2020, and that is just invest in yourself. Invest in yourself, protect your peace, your mindset at all costs. I always say that anyway. You know, this is a big storm that we're in, and the bigger the storm, the brighter the rainbow. So remember that. But if you do the work on yourself and you're willing to show up in the world as your real self, be transparent, willing to do the work, to go deep, to get to know yourself, to become self-aware, that is your biggest asset. You are your biggest asset and your longest commitment. So invest in yourself, protect your peace at all costs. If it costs you your peace, I'm telling you, it's too freaking expensive. So do the work on you, invest in yourself going forward into 2021, so that when the shit hits the fan, when trouble comes, as it will, we all face hurdles, challenges, right? The best way to manage those is with a calm mind, with a resilient mind, and anything that comes from externally doesn't have as much impact internally. So, you know, I believe that life is best done inside out. And what I mean by that is doing the work on the inside so that the outside doesn't impact, you know, the bullshit and the bad stuff doesn't impact us so much on the inside. Whereas myself and many others, you know, in the past, I've lived life the wrong way round, outside in. I wanted everything on. I bought things, I had things, wrong relationships. You know, I did life externally, thinking that would make me feel good internally, but it doesn't work like that. So, you know, think about that going forward into 2021. Who are you? Because only you and being you can really ultimately make you happy and fulfilled. And I believe that.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, well, thank you, Sam.
Thank you so much, ladies, for being here. Ola and Nikki, sorry you didn't. Yeah. Happy New Year, ladies. Thank you, Ola and Nikki, for being here. Sorry you didn't get on stage. Closing this room, but I'm opening another room at 3:45, but it's a completely different chat. It's all about just moving our bodies. I say it's a completely different chat. It is still about mindset and how moving our bodies can impact our mindset. So please come and join that as another part of the Real Life Club series, I guess. I don't really know because this Clubhouse thing is very new. But hopefully I'll see you maybe in 25 minutes time for that. In the meantime, I wish you all a happy new year. Thanks for being part of this chat today. And I'll speak to you all soon. Bye. I don't know how to end it. Oh. There we go. Thank you, everybody over on Facebook for watching. I hope you didn't mind. I was live in the Clubhouse. And I just wanted to basically try and do a simultaneous cast on here as well as on Clubhouse. If you haven't checked out Clubhouse, go and check it out. It's a new app that is just audio. It's just audio. There's some great conversations going on down there. All the cool cats are hanging out there, hence why I'm there. So yeah, go and check it out. I'm intending to go live there not every day, but most days, just because I love it. You know me, I love to talk. But I'll still be doing lives on here. Sorry that Dory, my puppy, those of you know, she's going, Dory, what's happening? She's looking at me like she's really in trouble, because she is. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that discussion. You know, that the discussion is really about the number one thing you want to take forward into 2021, or the number one thing, sorry, that I feel that we need to do in 2021, and that's invest in ourselves. Invest in ourselves, because we are our greatest asset and our longest commitment. You know, the pandemic and any shit and any hurdles that come our way. You know, we want to be able to manage that in the best way that we can. We want these things not to impact us, to hurt us so much that, you know, so it's about managing ourselves emotionally, physically, intelligently. And how we do that is by working on our mindset and investing in ourselves, getting to know who the hell we are. Because being, you know, only you and being you, I believe, is the way to truly be happy and fulfilled. And we don't want to be on this roller coaster of emotions when shit happens, when things get thrown our way. We want to learn to manage that and manage ourselves and have a calm mind, right? When the shit hits the fan, the best way to do it, to manage that, is to have a calm mind. So we've got to do the work on ourselves. So that is my tip for going forward in 2021, not just because I'm a coach. It's stuff that I do for myself on a personal level. I invest in myself continually. I want to be the best that I can be. I want to get the most out of life, and I know that means I have to invest in myself. I have to learn. I have to, when challenges come and obstacles come, I have to be willing to go there, to think, how can I get through this? How can I handle this? And afterwards look back on it and think, did I handle that in the best way that I could? Why was I so sensitive? How can I grow? What can I learn from it? That's all about checking in with yourself, becoming self-aware, becoming the best that you can, so that, you know, when you're self-aware, you become the best version of you. I absolutely believe that. So I'm going to finish it there. Happy New Year to you. If you are on Clubhouse, come join me at 3:45. We're going to talk about the 3K in 31 days challenge. I will probably go live in the It Starts With You group as well at the same time, because basically that's where the challenge is being run. I will see you all soon.